Okay, this is what I want to talk about. What's that? Oh yeah, this is Mr. Tackpans. You don't have to put a point. The point means it's the end of the MR and the continuation of. You don't want a decimal saying Mr. is more than MR in a word, because MR more in a word. What's that? MR more in a word would be MONSIEUR. So now you're saying my king, mon sire. When you say sire, SI becomes 51 because it looks like, what's the problem? But I don't get it. What's wrong? What are you pointing at? No, not you. Look behind you. Can't you see behind you? I can see in your mirror when you watch me. I'm looking right at you. I see everything behind you. Don't you see anything at all? What's that? Mary? Mary Jane had something to say. Do you know Superman, Mary Jane? Mary Jane doesn't know Superman. Mary Jane. What's that? It looks like I just went to sleep with somebody and that was left over. All right. I'll wipe it off. Maybe it's a little bit of mold. Rhymes with cold. Sincerely, it could be bold or gold. But if the world would fold, but you can't say rolled. Can you say rolled, R-O-L-D? No, but you can say old, right? S&P's Standards & Poor on ice. That's right. You freeze them in the spot. You put them on Standards & Poor's, you put them on ice. Ice turns blue. Like the Rocky Mountains new can they came out with a few years ago, that when you make it cold enough it turns blue, giving it the icy look. Standards & Poor, put them on ice. Just let's call it a little bit of spice. Since they'd be Standard & Poor, it would be silver. Because of silver water, right? Silver bullet. Spice, Old Spice, Gold Spice. I was sold on spice. But you can't say cold, or can you say cold? I could. Maybe I can't. Maybe I could. Hold on a second. Let me see. O-L-D-C. Put that letter there, that letter there. Yeah, it says cold. But what happens if I said cold again? And I'm playing Scrabble, and the other person playing, we have to play Scrabble by memory, because we don't have a board, we don't have a pen or paper, so we play by memory. She says, how did you spell cold? I said, with a Q. No, it's the Q that put us on ice, that froze us in the spot, that let us have only the Standards & Poor and nothing but to remember Old Spice, red and grayish silver on the can. 1 minute, 11 seconds, or 71 seconds. The 71st letter, 17th letter, is a Q. I can say cold with a Q, but then I'd have to have U to put it on ice, because Q has a tail, and it's followed by a U. How do I know? Because this equals 21. When you put numbers on it, of course. This only equals 9. I got one of each. But if this is in the 9th position, you came to here, you go, which one is this? That's the 9th position. Which one is this? That's the 8th position. So what number did you give it? I gave it number 9. So if I add them all up, I got 45. 45, 9 times 5, 45, 54, 666. Fold the cards, the old cards, fold the cards. Adding a little spice onto something. Why am I talking like this? Because I was told to see the truth. So I took out in my head S-E-E-T-R-U-T-H. And they said, no, it's by the seashore. Oh, that sea. C-E-A. Is there a problem? Seems like I'm running into a lot of problems. We'd have a big problem if this video don't upload. That's right. Oh, it could have been left. They were on my left, but I said that's right. So it was cold, it was old, it was by the seashore where she sold seashells, clams. Red and yellow, a good color to go together, right? Especially in all the cartoons where they put red and yellow together. They also put yellow and blue for Donald Duck. Red and black for Bugs Bunny. So down by the seashore, she sold seashells. Why? I said to clam up. It was a clam bake. I was Aiken. AK, Ace to King, 91 Spirit. N is the 14th card. I got the cross on my back, the middle of Rubik's Cube. 14th position, 27th the ball. In the center cross, where there's 6 crossing, but when you turn it, only 4 turn. So she sold seashells by the seashore. She did. And then they built a company called Shell Canada. Not far off from where the green and golden flag came of BP. And I wouldn't know that unless I got the disease BP that they push on you. No, it's not a disease. There's nothing wrong. It's just we get to the other song. That's all it is. It's a quiz. So she sold seashells by the seashore. I'm getting even better to say she sold seashells by the seashore. Because the more you say something, the more you believe you can, the more you have the flow of the words. Because the matrix is a computer. We are computers, and the shell is for the pearl that goes inside the shell that makes the scratch. In order for the sand to be scratched, for the vibration or the sound that comes out in the memo of Morse code within your own mind. There was chevron. The chèvre in French is a goat. What's a rond? I don't know. A rondelle is what they say in French, which means the round of the farmer in the dell. The LED light within one is round. So what did she sell by the seashore? She sold. So Shell came out with the yellow clam and red all around it. So we have to understand that they were on the sand and on the beach. She was squirming around like a snake. She could have been a turtle laying her eggs inside your head. With everything you ate, with all the vibrations, and even within the wind, you now are being followed, because now inside your DNA, your reproduction is laying eggs until they mold like a glove, like gold. They come together where you don't know where the first gold was, because now it all looks the same. The individuality of a single atom, spliced together to where both atoms look no different from each other, even when they split and divide. They build into each other. They go to the bathroom to get rid of what they don't need, and they become the same. Duplicates in 2 different areas. But if no one's looking, it's either left or right. It's either up and down. It's towards this side up, and it's towards that side up on that angle. But there's no other numbers. When they came to build this earth, they sold seashells by the seashore. Do you know why? Because they were smoking weed by the seashore as they tied up them islands in the Old Spice. The Old Spice, isn't it a stink? Isn't it a stink when you smell that? You smell humans around in all those shows. You know, these other kind of aliens. I smell a human around. A human. Old Spice. An old perfume that I would never wear because it was my grandfather's Old Spice. But through time, today somebody buys Old Spice, I look at it, I go, they're cheap. Why are they buying that junk? Old Spice. The old moons of Mars. Mars men, they stink. Don't you see how green they are? We all know the green stinks. She sold seashells by the seashore, almost as much as a woodchuck could chuck wood. I wish I knew how much a woodchuck could chuck wood. Today I was in by the wood factory, and I was watching people chucking wood all day long. Actually, I was into my paperwork, but they were chucking it because the word chuck meant to pass to the side. But anytime you say chuck and you say Chucky, you're actually talking about Chucky, that fake alien creature that kept coming alive. He was on strings, but he came off strings inside these programs. She sold seashells by the seashore. Old Spice, old, so old it would mold. So old, so long outside in the cold. I'll take this hand and I'll fold. In the world of many, the M and N, the minnow, the little minnows within inside of us that swim and fix everything, that maybe is probably inside our blood, that flows through our veins, man of many? Do we take away M and N? Do you know where M and N is on here? Well, let's just start as 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. How do I count them? There's 9 on top is the way I do it. Then I go 10, 11, 12, 13. The center is 14. There's a total of 27 areas on this. You go to the 14th, you back up. 13. You go to the 14th, you go forward. 13. You now have 13 and 13 letters in the alphabet. 26, the 27th one is the division in the middle, making both sides. Therefore, this one is number 13, this one is number 13, this one is number 13, and this one is number 13. But only this one, and this one will be any 13 at all. Because you see me and I see you. You don't see my ass. You're not talking to my ass. My heart's in the front. If you come to my back and knock on my back, you're going to say you have a rib problem. When you come in the front and listen to my heart, you say you have a heart problem. The head and the tails, the back and the front, the left and the right. La tête Godula. La tête, le cul, la droite, la gauche. Dans le milieu, en haut à gauche, en haut à droite. En bas à droite, en bas à gauche. She sells seashells by the seashore. How much can a woodchuck chuck? So if you have 3 13s, that's your 39. 39 times 7. 39 times 7. 1, 2, 3. See your C here? Okay, you're not making a 0. Here's your C. Here's one of your I's. Here's your T. And you create all you want from here. And if you can't do it, you have to go in between on these black lines. So if this is 13 and the inside is 14, 13 and 14, 27. 13th letter is M. 14th letter is N. In between that is number 14. Okay? 13, 14, 13. You don't want to say 13, 14, 15. Okay? Because the O's on this side. All the O's are on the outside. The O and the M. The M-O. It means the word. I don't know why. But when you finish and you complete it, the Y, because it's the division, the central core, so that's the E position of power. N, because it's the 14th position. M, which is in the position before, and O, which is in the position after. M-O-N-E-Y. Is that how you say Mickey Mouse? She sells seashells by the seashore? How much wood could a woodchuck chuck? I don't know. How much? Old Spice. Do we have to see for 1 minute and 11 seconds? 17 the queen. 1 times 7, 1 plus 7 is 7 and 8. 7 times 8 is 56, plus 7 and 8 is 15, 71. We started with 17, we finished with 71, the 1771 Tea Party, where they threw the tea bags over the shore, where they now join 2 worlds. North America did not exist before. I can't do Lo Shu in all those ways. These guys are so fantastic. I feel terrible because they're so good. All those numbers, and I see the sequences, and I see them in a different way in my head, and I can't explain it because I just know they exist. I don't have the answers. You can say more or less the hypothesis. A theory, an Einstein theory, no more than a thought of a calculation of what if. What if a woodchuck couldn't chuck any wood at all? And what if the wood you needed to chuck was all inside you by everything you ate, and you fired up the motors to heat the blood, to run the heart, so your ticker works like a pacemaker as you walk up and down with your feet. Otherwise, you're sick in bed. Run the world, or run the speeches or the explanations as expressions of the past that people have told you that were just an expression. I was just a boat is more of an excuse than anything else. So now we go down to told. We cannot say cold with a K, because the K is being used for the king. You know where we use the K for a king? Or should we stop it here, or should I continue on? So Old Spice, they were pulling them in the car. It was a red car. Red is number 27. M, and N. If you want to pull the red dog, you would pull 27 and 26. What does that mean? That means 27th area is in the center to the total of the 26 cubes that there are here. Everything else in here is rounded out like a circle inside of there. Or more or less. Turns in a circle. This is turning in a circle. Because the thing is square, it still turns in a circle. 27 and 26, because the center is the 27th of 26 blocks. 27 is the word for red, and number 36, especially when you go 3, 6, and 4. Where did that go? (3E). Wow, I must have lost it on the other page. 6. This creates an 11. See the way it says 410? Maybe this is a CB code. I see 410. Should I make this into a small d and put a B over here? Or could it be a P if I lifted this higher or lower? But this is a 10 for me. It looks like 410. 4 worlds of 10, 10, 10, 1 and 9, 2 and 8, 3 and 7, 4 and 6, 5, 5, 5, 5, all pass through the center, which is 20. 20 of 10, of 14, 14 and 10, the cross on man's back, 10, 10 TB, Rubik's Cube, the game of Rubik's. All sides equal 10. More than 1/7 gate. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but there's 8. Because there has to be an entry inside. One of these have to disappear. Now I can't explain it, it just keeps disappearing on me. See the 9 hole and the 5, they're the same card. So the 9 and 5 should go to the same area. Oh my God, 9 and 5 is 14. We're back to N. What should we do? We went with N and the I went to the N area where the E stands. You got E-I-N. Because it's the spirit snake that turns, it is automatically the S. And because this turns on the top, that makes your T, which if you turn to both of them, now you have the I. T-I-N, tin. What was I spelling? E-I-N-S-T-E-I-N. Einstein. Einstein. How did he come up with all this? Why does his name always come up? His name alone results in 95. 9 times 5 is 45 or 54. 9 times 6 is 54. The same numbers. Into the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if she sold seashells by the seashore? But if she didn't, what were they doing by the seashore? And the shell has a clam bake in which a pearl is involved to scratch. You draw a line in the sand. You now have 2 sides in the sandbox, creating the 2 moons of Mars. The 1 heart life of Earth man, but the 2 moons of Mars. For me, this world, okay, we left Mars. How did we leave Mars? When did we leave Mars? Thousands of years ago. We left. We came to the land of Pharaoh. Then we walked through the ocean. But before that and before that, we had Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve, they didn't get on a boat. But they were stricken to view the world differently than they did. Into the new world. 21 by 47. 21 by 47 is 987. Then, as far as I know, Abraham was here, and my sons, they set out to grow the land. So they grew the land and they learned. And then Noah showed up, and it started to rain. But wasn't Sodom and Gomorrah when everything turned to stone? So they ran to a new land with a new thought. And then Noah showed up, and it started to rain. And I saw it like this. Here's the earth. And I see Noah like this. Noah, where are you going? I'm down here underneath the water. Don't you see me? And he's floating on the water. But he doesn't notice. There's nothing holding the water up because he can't go down. So it comes out in the story how the ship went over the land. And it went into a new world. And then somehow at one point, Moses, okay, Moses, 2,000 5,775 minus 2350 is 3415. 3,425 years ago, when Moses was here, he separated the seas. But he did not go anywhere before that. Do you know why? Because there was nothing here before that. They added on what was ever here after that. And then eventually they went from Europe, the first complete world, now that everything was completed in that area, now they went to the secondary world. And somehow, a couple of hundred years ago, and as deep as I look into my papers online, I still can't find anything more than the reflection of words. Old Spice, gold, on ice, spirit, standards, and poor, where man has been put in this first world. He is standard and poor. OOR is the two eggs connecting the moons. He's at the lowest he can be. He's no longer a magician. He's no longer fast. He no longer gets everything he wants. Now he lives amongst the others. He gets the connection of the spirit. Standard, spirit, S&P, 35. Electric, company, 35. 12th from go. 18th from visiting jail, and backwards, 12 from go, and 10 and 22 around from visiting jail. Because we all got to put the Monopoly game back into this. So Old Spice, now we got to come up with all the words. Which words, okay, come together where the letters are together? M and N do not say anything with old. When it says mold, the other says nold. No, we will not put that together. We can use that as initials. N and D is Notre Dame, but we're not. So now what comes before O? It is L. So you can't say lold. So L-O-M, okay? L is the 12th, okay? M is the 13th. The 13th. N is the 14th, and O is the 15th. So you're connecting in your mold and old. They're all connected together. The G7 is for the 7th gateway. Now we have to decide and understand what is the gateway. It has an opening to put an X. Therefore, it says starseed. But still, I do not know anything about starseed, anything other than the kind people who have said starseed exists as June and Jan and Genu. I mean, you know what I did today? I went to the store. I went like this. She says, "What do you want?" I go, I said, "I want 52 weeks off." She says, "But you're holding up a 6. I go, "Yeah, the number for 6 is 52. 652. 6 1/4. 6 times 25. So now we're going to get back to how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck spray goodbye to boyhood. Say, spray goodbye, or do they want us to say goodbye? P16, R18, the connection of two parts of the mind, C and D, 7 and 8. The 8 and the 7 card both have two parts of the mind. The 4 card has 4 corners. The 3 card has only 3 in the center. The 3 in the center connected to 1 and 2 here, and the 3 in the center connected to 1 and 2 here. Now, I'm not telling you your whole mind is to pick up the spirit, but it works with the soul to keep you alive. I think it's the ticker of the heart that keeps time, but I'm not sure how the transmission works between them. You couldn't say cold, but you couldn't say rolled, but both of the words actually do work. Q and R. Very special, because Q is 17, this is 18, but they both work in the word. If you didn't say mold, you can more or less say world and add the R into this word. Or old and put wolf, taking away the D, but D, E, and F are in the same world. So anyways, we come down to spray goodbye to boyhood, say goodbye to boyhood. 7 and 4, D and G is 7 and 4. 3, 5, and 6, 365 days a year. Well, when we go back to the old one, let me see where it is. 364 days equals to 12 moons. 1, 2, and 9 comes together. Don't forget, 3 says, I am the strand in creation. I am in the creation world. I am 1 and 2, 3. I am not 1 plus 2, 3. I am 1 times 2, 3. Do you understand? 1 plus 2, 3. Okay? 12 moons. 34 says for number 1. 3 times 4, 3 plus 4 creates the moon size to the prism and the satrap of Mars for man's head of 6. 6 always reflects 8. And then when you go 6 times 3 times 4 equals 72 plus 13. 13 is your 9 and 4 connection. Your 9 and 4 connection. 13, your 8 and 5 connection. 13. 13, 3 different worlds. What would this be? This would be 7 and 6. Here's your 7, here's your 6. 3 times 3. 2 times 4. Always 2, 3, and 4, my friends. When they talk about the vibration 2, 3, and 4, it's more 2, 3, and 4 than anything else. Because in order to multiply something and divide and end up at 1776, you can do it to 2, you can do it to 3, you can do it to 4, you can do it to 6, you can do it to 8. You can do it to 11, 111, 16. I'm not sure if you can do it to 34 and 64, but it's all the backgammon dice. And it all divides into 1776. And each number will tell you something different, especially when you get to 392, which is 276 in its own. So this is your old. 1 and 5 equals to your 11. 1 and 2 equals to your 5. 5 and 11. 11 is 1 and 1 is 2. This becomes 2, 5, and 4. 254th day of the year, 9/11 happened. 2 times 5 is 10. Times 4 is 40. 40 plus 2 plus 5. 5 and 4 is 9, and 2 is 11. You have your 9/11. 40 and 11 is 51. Mars equals 51. And we're back to this number again. And if you want to go back to that number one more time, we'll go back to that number one more time. Here's that number one more time. There was no North America. Just like the lakes and the oceans, especially the bays and the byways, and Lake Meads and the dams and the canals, deep underneath the ground, the flow, the movement, not only of what's taking place up on top of the water, what's taking place below. For every element of new that came in electricity above the water, it has made and been made below the water. Now they put barrels inside the ocean. When the ocean waves, the barrel creates some kind of energy. The same thing goes underneath the water. Either it's used to cool the computer systems. You show me. Cool me down. Cool me down. I am hot. Somehow my food is getting destroyed. How am I destroying that food? What elements are being used? And how come I have alcohol inside of me? I taste it sometimes. Almost like, in fact, it tastes better than anything I've ever tasted. There's this taste I get sometimes when I feel something different, really different. So where am I going to go next? Where's your 1, 2, 3? Either it's 1, 2 over here, or it's here's your 1, and here's your top and bottom. This one is either 7 and 3, or this one is 1 and 9, according to how I see it in the book. When I'm looking at it in the book, that's what it looks like to me. Jesus is 74, Christ is 77, 151. 33 times 47 is 1551. Over here, there's going to be one more mark. 47 times 47. 47 times 47 is what? Is 23 something? 24 something? Hold on, I'll know. 2209. 2209. 47 by 47 is 2209. Then Jesus, 33 by 47, 1551. And now, 33, that was Jesus. We're 43. Why? Mars and the Earth, 4 and 3. 4 and 3. Everything is 3 and 4. Multiply any number by 3, it'll always be 3, 6, and 9. Multiply it by 4, it'll make one turn around, because what happens in this? 14, 14, and 14 on 3 sides is 42. Does the hitchhiker need more of a guide? Does he need the 3 over here and the 3 over here to make his 6 of 9? 6 of 9. 3 here, 4, 5 that are left over. 5 equals number 42. Or you have 4 and 2 is 6. 2, 4, 6. When you multiply 47 by 43, it equals 2021, which equals 41. 41 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 is 25,625. 25,625. There's no 3 and 4 inside of it. There's no 3 and 4 that comes inside of it. 3 and 4 says the moon, and it says 1 and 9. It repeats everything. This becomes the moon. This becomes your 1-9. This becomes your 9 card of who you are. Your communication, your eye, because from ear to ear, right? From ear to ear and eye to eye. You're being watched, you're connected. JC. Jesus Christ, JC. Mercury, Earth, Mars. Earth and Mars. 1 moon and 2 moons. 1 moon inside 2 moons. They run us with Mars as we somehow they take the 2 Mars moons and they do something to our moon over here, or it's the vibrations on Earth. But we're a total of Mercury, Mars, Venus, Earth, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus. 2 U's inside of it. Makes the S. 2 U's makes an S. Right? 2 U's make an S inside of Uranus. It also says Sun. Old Spice. The letters that are not used. You want to fold in life? You were sold in life. It came, as you said, to 3E and 6, and E was 5. Okay, I'm talking about a story. This story about Old Spice is all about how she saw the truth. Well, she didn't actually saw through any tooth. Not a tooth, the truth. Was it the truth or a tooth? Now there was a tooth fairy. So now you got me mixed up in something else through tooth. What should I be looking? Tooth looks like tut. It also has 2 zeros like an Old Spice. TH is for time heaven. LD is 3 and 4. 6, 3 and 4. 3 and 4 again. Earth and Mars. Okay, O is that egg. It's the outside of the entirety. Earth and Mars runs inside. Old is just like saying the beta creation of who we are. This is the old system. We're not running on intuition because we know through the computer. We're all hooked up to the spirit. We know the guidelines and how everything works. We're not in that world. It's the LD world, the low delta. So when you say old again, it's a 1, 5, okay, 12. 1 times 2, 1 plus 2 equals to 5. Inside the L is a 5. So it actually says between E and D, it says LED. You have an LED inside of you. Ole, 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 ole. And again, I see 10. So you're delta 10. We're delta 4 and 6. That 3, 6, and 4. Is that what it is? F is 6, 4 is D. Oh yeah. That 6 and 4 is Israel. That 6 and 4 is Zion. That 6 and 4 is a 0. 0. And 0 is very special because in 0, in French, when they say 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, everything ends in Z and E. Imagine you said size, it's 16, and then you said size and 1. Or row, gold. If you said gold, if you said size and then gold, it would sound like 0. Because gold in French is OR. So you'd say size, Z-E-O-R. So again, yes, numbers 6 and 4 for sure. And 6 and 4 create X and X. How? In Roman numerals as 10, 6 plus 4. And 6 times 4 is 24. 24th letter is X. They total 34. And again, we're back to 3 and 4. L, 1 and 2 is 3. D is 4. Earth and Mars, the prism and the sand trap. Back to the Old Spice. A way to just bridge together the nose. Somehow bridge together the nose. Homo erectus. Ace King, AK. The video was 1 minute 11 seconds. A-K. Ace King. What else were they trying to get in it? The two doors? Yeah, the two doors. If you took a look, if you took a real good look, there was actually a pillar in the center, a pillar on the left, and a pillar on the right, with a door and a door, with a pillar in between. We're two. Regardless of what we are, we're more than two. We are our reflection from the other world we're living as ourselves, thinking that we're not there. It's really weird. We're connecting all these joysticks down here, and poof, we're dead. We're back up there. Hey, fuck, I didn't want to leave that quick, did I? The things that go with old, besides mold, fold, cold, things that are bold, that stick out. Gold, hold, sold, told. So it's a story to be told. How are these? You got old and you added all of these things in, so you had to fold your cards, so that's an action that happened. Things were cold, so things weren't so good. Things were bold, they were sticking out at you. Mold sticks out at you and it smells. Gold is something you ply together. Yes, it's all things that freeze and become one, it seems like, the whole. To make things come one. That's what the old is, to make things come one. With the smell. In French, pisser says to go piss in the toilet. I got a pisser. And pic, P-I-C, says I have a spade. So if you have the spade, you have the old spade. That means he's half of you because he has one eye in the cards. And he's 10th in the game because he's 11 as a person. So he's 21 all in itself, 21. The sand, the DNA was, yes, for sure. It's also 114. Sand is a pig's pregnancy, which also is a replica of Abraham. And that is because 1 and 4 are the N, as well as A and D are the A and D. So you have and, sand, and the DNA. And with your and as 1 and 4, the pig's pregnancy is 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days, which is 114 days. The moon and Iceland together equal 114, 57 each, in which 5775 is next year, and 4 sides of this say 5. Okay, I'm going to show you. 5 here, 4 corners in the center. 5 here, 10, 5 here, 5 here. You have 20. Now the light of me has to come up. So if the light comes up here, it goes into the middle, which is 6. So you have 26 and 1, 27. So you have a total of 7. 7 up, the reflection, 7 down. Actually, it's 7 up, 6 down, 1 in. 1 in to 6 out. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1 inside your skull. So it says 7. Actually, I can do it on here. 6 and 1 is the only one that doesn't duplicate. That's 7 and 7 is 14. All the other ones are 5 because they duplicate. 4 by 5 is 20. 2 by 7, 14, 24. 2014. What's the highest one? 6. And what creates it? 4. Those are the only 2 that work. 6 and 4. When you had 6 and 4, you had 5 and 3. When you had 6 and 4, 5 and 3, you have 2 and 1. Why? Because we needed to make the 10 world within the dice, the middle world, in order to see where we are. Then when we make the middle world, the opposite was a 3. The opposite of 6 was a 1. The total was 4. It says 10-4, October 4th. Those are the only 2 numbers that can do that on the dice. Secondly, on the cards and on the dice, the 6 looks the same as well as the 4. So we had that 64, 4, and 6. We made it come out to the dog pounds. We made it to come out to everything, and the only thing that was missing from it was 30 hours. The only thing missing from the Old Spice was 30 hours. What can create something inside 30? A creation of something inside 30. Now, why 30? If you dice 30 in Monopoly, you go to jail. 30 becomes 36. So right away, if we're missing 30, 0 becomes 6. We have the 6. This becomes the 5. This is your CF. I don't know where I got CF. Oh, yeah. C was over here. I don't know where that F comes from. Where did we get the F? Because I heard it mentioned, the F. Anyways, whatever it is, this is 6. All right, this is 6. This is 3. This is 4. 6, 3, 4. So now I put 6, 3, and 5. Because the D goes exactly with the E. Without the delta corner, the mirrors of delta is the way I'm presuming, it can't reflect onto the other side. 4 reflects 6 equals to 10. 4 plus 10 equals 14. There's your DNA once more. Why it comes that way? You just play with it that it comes that way, but it is what it is. The other thing I wanted to show you is this is the first. You see how far you can't see any further? It looks like it touches. It's so far away. That's an A. This is the H. You can see because each level separates. They move. It's almost like floors that move together. This will move together and connect. And then this one will open up and connect. It goes smaller, bigger. Because if you go smaller, there's a track right on here, and it's an automatic. You can change the tracks. These can open up and squeeze because I've seen the ball trick on here. The ball trick, the ball tick, this becomes this, if you take a look. Everything is in triangles, in X's, in O's, straight lines. I can't really talk much more of that. But yes, I will mention one more thing. Total Recall, Arnold Schwarzenegger, when they went to Mars, when he pulled that thing out of his nose, it looked like a big white moon, didn't it? Right? So there was something in there about Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh yes, when you mentioned Mars and the redhead, the lady in the picture looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger's dress when he was trying to go up to Mars. Was it Total Recall he went to? Yeah. So that picture looked like her with the red hair. And if you really want to reflect, I don't know why, but I keep thinking Mercury is red, but the Mercury rising on the temperature thing is red, but then I see it in an element and it doesn't look red, it looks grayish. 71 seconds. 71 seconds plus 111 is 182. Or how about 60 plus 11? 60 plus 11. If it was 3 here, it would be 3 times 60 plus 11. If it was a 9 here, it'd be 9. I mean, if there was 9 minutes, I go 9 times 60 plus 11. Because each group in its own has to represent itself. The one pillar, the picture, if you put one on the top and you put one on the bottom, automatically there's one created on the side. There may be nothing on the side, but the outline, because of the top and the bottom, you create on the side. So now you have the pillar that holds up 2 sides. This can look like your M. If it was a little bit shorter, I made it very tall. By making it taller, you put number 11 in the center. 11 in the center, and you see these? They look like more C's. C, and then the equal sign, or whichever letter comes within. I wasn't prepared to do any of this. Purple erect angle. Purple erect angle. That's what made me do this. Number 10. 9 and 1 is 10. And in horse racing, the purple horses are 9 and 10. 5 times 2, making up the Venus world. And 3 times 3, making up the world of Jupiter, Earth. The electronics, communication, the Bell cell. 7 numbers. 7 numbers to the 3 creation. Let's call on Bell, the only one that uses 7 to call creation Earth. Let's call Earth. Okay, they're calling Earth. We are Earth. When the telephone rings, those 3 numbers are for you and me. We are I am of 3 of who I think and I am. But of 3 of part of me and 3 that's part of me. Actually, it's this angle. Forget about being 9, 19. I'm only 9.5. And if I'm 9.5, I'm the Einstein number of 1776. And I've just created the road and the pathway to number 42. Because 5 and 9 are parts of 42, equaling to 84. 8 by 4, 8 plus 4 is part of the space in Barack Obama's 44th presidency, in which when you double them up to 88, 53, 53, because the dog and the cat, the red dog and the black cat equal 53 each. As you go number 24 and 29 in the piano, when you overlap number 23, when you overlap 24th and 29th, center C, even in the piano you start a CD. They put on the mask and they sent us into the game. It's all masks and suits. It's just something standing there, just replicating something of what you think it might be. What does it mean, rain? We were talking about the galaxy. Einstein equals 95. EI and N, in order to get it, is 5, 9, and 14. It creates 28. The only way to multiply it is 7 times 4. It's 28. Another way to get 28 is 4 by 7. It's 28. Oh, I just did that. 2 times 2 times 7, or 27 2. How about big red? 2, 7 equals 9. G and B, that's big. Right from B and G, the beta gates, the two-way system of beta. She's the one that splits it all up. She's the one that knows how to splice everything together. She's the builder. She has the babies, and she knows how to put our DNA together. I'm assuming that's what it is. The snake is 2 C's. The D and G is the star system, where one goes around the other way. The 2 tails, there's a tail here and a tail here on the G because it's not completely closed. And on the G on the other side, there's a little gateway. And the star stands there, and he gets a thing inside, a split in his head. And he spins around. And he's got legs that go out and dip into the little pool of the G. The G could be created inside the D because they sell D and G. CC looks like an X. Doesn't it look like that bozo X? DD, the elevator opening and closing, the butterfly. A on 2 sides, but not the central. In order to make this A, you need to make this complete A here. 11 open up the center, but doesn't this look like E or F? Round, 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 round. Whoop! There's a baton. 2 ends with a stick. Must be the O. What's this over here? Looks like a bat. No, it's not a bat. It's the I upside down. No, it's the exclamation point. It's a teardrop. It's 1 and 0. Oh, all right. 1 equals 34. 0 equals 64. 64 and 34 is 98. Is that not true? Z-E-R-O. 15 plus 18, which is center and right, because if you count 369 is 18. If you count 258 center, that's 15 and 18. It's O and R. And that's for gold, so I guess we got 15 and 18, because 18 is 666, 15 is 5 by 3, which is electric company. You got Z and E, which is the dog pound, and the E, okay, even though it's a small E, do you want to give it? If it's a small E, it's got the electronics. If it's the big E, it's the electronics between the 2 sides of your mind. So we got E over here. ZE equals to 31. ZE equals to 31, and there are 7 numbers in French that end with ZE. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I think that was it. So now we got 31 plus 33 equals to 64. 0 equals to 64. 6 times 4, 6 plus 4, you're going to get X and X. X and X, 20. Plus the X in the other frame, you got 30. 1, 2, you got 20, and you got 30. X, X. The 2 worlds of 20 give you 30 because you added up here to this world, you got 2 20s in this world, and then you got your own 20 in this world. Then you divide. Then you become 60. 60 and 20 makes your 80. Or in French it says 4 and 20 and 4 and 80. This doesn't get to go any more than this. This is a completely different world. When we put these 2 worlds together, it becomes 60. But this one can only be 30. And 20 makes 50, only when they move over here. But we're not doing that right now. I didn't do that. I didn't prepare for that. So we did the Moses thing. The other thing, you see how we finished with Moses? Over here? Again, this says 1, 3, 4, 2. Inside of 1 and 5. Because the 1 is always in the front. No matter what you got here, it's always 1. Because when you multiply this by 1, it'll be the same thing. And I did mention to you before, 256. You remember 256? 25 and 6. Remember when there was no 3, 4? Well, when there's no 3, 4 inside of 2, 5, and 6, 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 is 625. 3, 4 is not there. 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 is 256. 3, 4 is not there. 3 and 4 into the 10 world is 7 and 6, and 3, 4, 7, 6 is the diameter of the moon, in which in the roulette table, it's marked right on the board, 1776, in which 1 and 6 will create the 7 and the 6 by the multiplication and the addition. And when you add 13 to it, it will equal 1789, and then Washington was going up for the vote. So we did this number over here. We did the diameter of the moon. This together is 59. Again, back to the Einstein deal again. This, why is this 3429? Why? Because Moses at 50 stars times 47, the marking of life and death, equals 2350. In the other world, it was 2000, 2209. 2209, 5775, 6653. Look at that. 365 days, 356 days, the calling of the two worlds a world. General Electric. This is the first calculation of time. This is the second calculation of time. Electric Company of the 6 and 6 world. Brought to you by Moses. They built the cities. You remember? They built the cities. They built all the cities, so I guess that's a date. This one is they built the moon. 1/4 of man, 42. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe, because 9 times 6 is 54. 9 times 5 is 45 is the same thing. 42. 9 and 5 play from the same area. The 48th Super Bowl is this year. In order to say 48, you need XLB111, which is 24 plus 12 plus 22 plus 27 equals to 49, 59, 61, 65. Matrix, silver matrix, 85. Pope resigns at 85. 8 and 5 in the center. They're your moon of Jupiter. This is where the gateway opened up to come in. Jupiter opens up its gate. Jupiter opens up its gateways within Uranus to the Neptune mind. You cough, the electric starts. You are born. You are into 48 and 48 space. I'm assuming the other space was in the bubble that you were in while you were being born in the 9 months of the birth that no one in this world had anything to do with. Who grew you into that stomach? This is the number. This is the cat. This becomes 48. But when I mark it out now, $50, $60, $65, $66, $67, $68. Planet X, Matrix, the totality of Rubik's Cube. Grover Cleveland, when they made the switch, Grover Cleveland. What's in between? The left wing. Something to do with the left wing. Since this comes together, we'll put this with this. This will be 39. This one will be 46. Or we'll put 6349. Let's see what that does. 6349. The numbers are basically the same numbers in Old Spice. Same numbers of space, same numbers in Old Spice. All the same thing. Bringing it together, the creation of man is 666 into Earth and Mars of 6 and 9. 9 times 6, we all know, is the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe. 9 times 6 was 54, was 45, because 5 and 9 are played from the same position of the 5-hole. So 9 times 6, which 9 and 6, which inside 9 and 6 is 7 and 8. And 8 and 6 are played from within the same world. In fact, 6, 7, and 8 are all in the same world. So that Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I think the guy knew what he was talking about. So we'll stop for now. I haven't hardly begun. Otherwise than that, I just want to thank She Tells the Truth, written by She Sells Seashells by the Seashore. How much could a woodchuck chuck? And thank you for watching this video.